everybody. Welcome back to Small Town Podcast from our various weeks away doing life and school and
fall concert craziness.
yeah.
Which Veterans Day is getting ready to happen, and
Yep. And then Christmas.
all the Christmas.
4 Christmas concerts in 2 days.
Yes,
That's happening.
totally. All right, so today we are talking about classroom management, the one thing they never could teach you in college.
I mean, they could give you some strategies, but
They
I mean, you can't really practice it.
You
until
don't know.
You have your kids.
You don't know till you know. And then you don't know what to do. So we're just going to talk about some of the things that we do, how we handle classroom management in our own classes. And yeah, like I'll have choir and general music, and Katie also has band as well as some general music. So
Yeah.
take it away.
So for my high school band classes, it's all about routine and establishing that routine. My 6th grade band right now is the Best Behave. That might also have something to do with the fact that there are 17 girls and 2 boys in that class.
Right. Not to be judgy, but it just makes a difference sometimes.
The girls are mostly close friends. Like they're like mostly teachers' kids, and anyway, I think there's some factors there, and
right, because full disclosure, like 6th grade girls could be like you may be thinking like I've got 6th grade girls and
they are insane,
and yeah, like they so.
But I think it depends on the year. It depends on the group of kids, and it can really also depend on 1 or 2 kids in that class. If you just have the right mix of kids or have the wrong mix, then. But the biggest thing that I've found that is helpful, and that other teachers have also told me, is making sure that they are playing or doing enough things that they don't have time to make the wrong choices. Mm-hmm. That they don't have idle time to just sit there and think, what happens if I just spin this music stand like an air rifle? Mm-hmm. What happens if I just throw this thing in the air really far?
Oh, and by the way, we're talking like seconds. We're not talking in minutes of downtime. We're talking in seconds of downtime.
Yeah.
Especially in elementary. The younger they are, it takes zero time for them to get off task.
And that's really hard, especially if you're a younger teacher just kind of starting. Just having that, you're ready to go, you're going really quick, you're going through your lesson, it's really fast paced. Pacing, I've noticed really the last couple of years, also coming out of COVID, is difficult. But really my pacing hasn't been great until almost this year, of just having my systems, knowing what to do, and just having that routine established. I know I'm going to start off with some announcements and tell them important information, and then we're going to do stretching and breathing, and then we're going to do a scale, and then we're going to tune, and then we're going to get right into the music, and I'll usually run a section, then we'll go back. My biggest problem right now is I still cannot find the answer. If I'm working with one section of instruments, how do I get everyone else to be quiet? That's still a really hard thing for me in year 7. Mm-hmm.
Well, and I know they always say have them finger along, or have them
I always say airplay, look at this other part. I'm going to work on this part next. Yeah.
But again, if your attention is on the section you're working with, how do you police that? And so,
one thing that is very helpful, if I'm looking at rhythm specifically, I will write the rhythm out on the board, even if it's just 2 flute players that play it. We all read the rhythm, we all clap it, we all play it on our favorite note, we all do something with it. And that is very helpful. I've seen directors write, they call them lead sheets or warm-up sheets, where they take the melody or bass line or important parts and write them out for every instrument. I just don't have time for that. That's a really great idea, and that's a really cool thing. It's really hard for me to find the time to do that for every single piece of music that I give my kids. I used to try to do a check system, but that was really hard for me to keep track of, in addition to every other little detail that I'm keeping track of in my day, like attendance, and I've got kids that might be sick, or I've got kids that are going to be out on Thursday because of whatever, and there's just a lot to keep track of.
In my humble opinion, classroom management systems just aren't sustainable.
Yeah.
I've tried several of them in my years. I used to write the word music on the board, and like if they were being loud, I would take a letter away, and or however and I've tried the other way, like if they're being good, we add a letter, and then they get a reward. I've tried all different kinds of things, and I see them all over, Teacher Talk and
Instagram
and Pinterest back in the day.
Pinterest,
right back. Hey, I've taught for a long time. Okay, and I've just never found one that's really sustainable. So I think in general, just the way that you set up your classroom is your number one. The whole offense is the best defense thing. Yeah. Really is the best.
And I know too, like I was working with a teacher, she's a first year teacher, and helping her out with some classroom management strategies, and I asked her where did you student teach, and she said a really rich school district.
Big, like suburban.
Big, fancy, very known for being the richest part of the state, and I was like, wow, that just isn't helpful at all for this job. Because I'm sure if you come from one of those programs, if you've been at one of those schools, that it's really wealthy, big suburban area, kind of like that it's just not the same as this rural, small town, lower income, whatever it might be, kind of area. We just have different kids. We have different kids with different needs. We have different families, and they're just gonna act differently.
So choir is probably a lot the same. Getting started immediately is really important. I'm thinking about my high school choir. Any day that if I'm busy doing something and I think in my head I can give them a few minutes, while I finish this up.
It derails the whole
It
class.
derails the entire class. You cannot get them back. And so that routine of they come in, they get their folders, they find their seat. As soon as it's time for class to start, all right, get out your 333s. We do the Kodai 333 sight reading, and we get started with that. Or we'll dive into stretches and warm-ups. Just sometimes I switch around, but that doesn't matter. And so just getting started right on time. I do often have, and because I have this freedom more than you would in band, that I'll say, okay, everyone sing the bass part in your own octave. So that way,
trumpets just transpose.
Right. But it works because I have two basses. And so not only does it give them support when they're learning this new part, especially with our sight singing. All right, we're all going to sight read the tenor part. We're all going to sight read the alto part. And so that supports them as they're learning a new part, and it keeps everyone engaged. So that's probably the most successful thing I've done as far as making sure everyone is on task throughout. Sometimes I have them hum their parts. If I want them, for instance, if I want them to be able to hear the other harmonies, but really theirs be the one to stand out, is I'll say, okay, sopranos, altos, and basses hum, tenors sing out. And that can also help them. But again,
to not
just
talk to their neighbor.
Ways to keep everyone engaged and everyone has a job. And I'll just ask if someone's off task. I'll be like, Susie, what's your job right now? What is your job right now?
Kind of calling them out.
Yeah, and not.
But you got to be careful. You got to know what kid that's okay with, because there are kids that will absolutely shut down and just disintegrate.
Right, and but just. It's just a reminder of everyone has a job, right? And so even if I don't call them out, be like, everyone has a job right now. And I do this especially in my elementary choir of hey, someone raise your hand and tell us, what's your job right now? What are you supposed to be doing? We're supposed to be listening to the music. Okay, show me what that looks like. I'm really big on that with all my classes. Show me what that looks like. Don't tell me.
Right. No. I said show me.
Mm-hmm. Are you ready? Show me you're ready. It's not are you ready? It's not let's get ready. It's show me you're ready. And I don't need you to tell me about it. I need you to show me what it looks like to be ready to move on.
So I'm not sure if you're aware, but we just had a daylight savings time change here. Good old state of Indiana.
Today was fun.
We also have a full moon happening.
And
I think
eclipse. There's like an eclipse.
And a lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
So everyone's insane. And we've got 2 weeks to Thanksgiving and then Christmas. And it's just starts the fall madness of teachers are tired, kids are wound up, we don't know what to do.
The elementary dumped water on the principal's head this afternoon.
That was a whole
fun
thing.
All kinds of things.
So fun. So when there are days like that, you just have to know, even the most seasoned teachers, we're gonna have rough days. Today was definitely the rowdiest for all my classes. Even my high school kids, they're kind of rowdy, and I have to get on them a lot to stop talking while I'm trying to teach. And
they just really like each other.
they're just such good friends. But it's just when there's a lot going on, and especially this is a really busy week with Veterans Day, and we've got all these things coming up, and basketball season starting, which is huge at our school. It's just there are things working against you, and you just have to remember that. Kids are they can handle a lot, and we should expect highly from them, but also remember they're kids, and that they're gonna have moments just like adults.
Right, and that's where those procedures come in, and getting those procedures in place early before it gets crazy, because they don't have to spend their brain power wondering what they're supposed to be doing, because it's already a habit. They already know, and it really does help. And then days like today, you can reinforce that.
If you're ever feeling like you just don't know what to do with your class, they're just crazy, you feel out of control, reach out to other mentor teachers if you have college professors nearby that might be able to come and just observe you. And obviously your students are going to maybe act a little bit different because there's a new person in the room, but trying to put that person way back in the back where the kids will kind of forget about them, and then they just literally sit there and take notes. That can be a really helpful thing. I don't care if you've been teaching for 1 year or 75 years. You can always get help from other teachers just watching you.
And hey, if you don't have anyone, email us. We might even be available to come and help you out. And
Small.townmusic@gmail.com.
and I would love to do that. I know.
And then maybe we could get you a shirt too.
That'd be amazing. Anything else? One of the things that's really helpful for me to inquire is, and we'll talk about this when we get to general music as well, is get out from behind the piano.
Yes.
Get out.
Get in front of those kids. Move around.
Get close to them. Move around proximity. And what I do inquire a lot is we circle up. And I tell the kids all the time, all right, grab your music, circle up. I'll put I've got a little, I've got a piano on my phone, and I'll attach that to my Bluetooth. And so I can get starting pitches that way. And also, it's good for your kids. It's good for their ears to challenge them to get away from relying on you at the piano or relying on a track or whatever. It's really good for them to hear each other sing, get in a circle. They're all much more engaged. They're hearing you, they're hearing each other. And so that is one of my go-to, everyone, I could just feel the room is frazzled.
Yeah.
You know what? Grab your music,
change it. Yeah.
Circle up, guys. Here we go. That's really helpful for me.
Sometimes I just play a game. Okay, put your kids are just rowdy. We're not getting anywhere with the music. I'm just yelling at them. They're yelling at me. So I'm okay, put your instruments away. Let's do something different. So I've done that. I do crazy Simon Says, where it's really fun and I love it every time because it's really funny because I always get the kids and they hate it. But I stand up and I'm okay, Simon says touch your head, Simon says touch your nose, Simon says touch your knees, Simon says turn around, stop. Hey, Tommy and Tina, switch places. And I look at him and I'm yeah, I need you to come up and come to the front. Really out of contact kind of, and it gets them every time. And then it's really funny, and it's kind of like a bonding experience too. But it gets the kids to pay attention better and to really focus in, and then they hone in on the game. And it's just a fun kind of brain break from other things that we've been doing. I really like silent rehearsal, and you can't do it all the time. I think once every couple weeks is fun. And you have to, in my experience, I have to set it up the right way because it's failed miserably sometimes for me. I tell them the day before, okay, tomorrow we're going to have silent rehearsal. We're going to play our instruments, but I'm not going to talk. You're not going to talk. Like, we just have to figure it out together, what I want you to fix. And then, like, as they walk in, I go, okay, silent rehearsal, okay. And I, like, and I'm like, as soon as you walk in, we're quiet, we don't talk. And I just started out, like, I'm standing in the hall waiting for them as they're, like, coming in during passing period. And we're as quiet as possible, and I walk in, and I'm like, and we're just like miming through the whole time, and it's funny because the kids misunderstand, and then they're all giggling, and they're like, "No, wait, you have to be quiet," and they all really buy into it, and it's been really fun. And the kids have like specifically requested it sometimes, and that was such a I did it a couple weeks ago with my 7th and 8th grade band, and that was such a relief from the constant noise that I experience. And I think it's nice for them too to have to figure things out a little more.
I've done that with just part of rehearsal, especially if they're being really loud.
Right.
Like
getting quiet.
I'll just stand at the front, and I'll be like what? And then someone will catch on and be like, oh, 25. I'll be like, and we can go on that way, and that's a good way to just get them back into focus, even if you don't do a full rehearsal.
Sometimes when it's a really rough day, or you just feel like you're in a bad mood, and that's kind of feeding off the kids, trying to remember the positive things that are happening is really important, because as musicians, we spend so much of our time just harping on kids and nope, wrong note, nope, wrong rhythm, come on, get this, you know this, you can do it, come on, why can't you figure this out? But then looking at that one kid oh my gosh, Tommy, that was really awesome, you got your scale today, and that was good. Okay, great. And then sometimes oh, Susie, you're ready, awesome, that, look at your posture, that's so good. Then the other kids kind of catch on, and of course someone will be like, oh, wow, that's just, and then you just kind of ignore them or deal with that if it arises. But that's helpful too.
That's a pretty good segue, I think, into elementary as well, because that's really how I try to handle my elementary, and I mess up and I catch myself, but when I'm teaching kindergarten music and I've got 3 kids that are rolling around, sometimes literally on the floor, it is my nature, I think it's any of our nature, to be like, what are you doing? Get up in your chair.
And what? Especially usually the kid rolling around on the floor is not just an isolated thing and everyone else is sitting perfectly. It's kids are screaming, they're running, they're there's a lot happening, so then your go-to is just stop.
Yeah. And so I try really, really hard to almost block that out and force my eyes to look at the kids that are doing the good things. Because, those kids probably hardly ever really get the recognition.
Yeah.
Because, teachers are always giving the attention to the kids that are misbehaving.
Yeah.
Well, what are the first names you learn are the kids that are misbehaving. And so I try really hard to, Johnny's rolling around on the floor, especially if, say, the kid next to him is sitting up in his seat, then I'll call out oh my God, Tommy, thank you so much for sitting up in your seat. That's exactly how we should sit up in music class. Thank you so much. And then, probably 7 times out of 10, the kid that's on the floor will be like, oh. And then as soon as he does, then you call him out too. And you say, oh my gosh, Johnny, thank you so much for sitting up nicely in your seat. And give them that positive attention.
Yeah, this also helps, those positive emails I was talking about a couple episodes back. Just doing that every once in a while, 1, puts you in a better mood, and 2, I try to pick the kids that don't get nice things said about them, that aren't the honor roll, I get awards at every awards day, I get all this recognition. It's the kids that are kind of either middle of the road or kind of not great kids that hey, I know that, Johnny over there is just usually having a tough time, but in band today he worked really hard and he was really nice to a kid that he didn't have to be nice to, and it was really cool, and I love having him in band. And that builds a relationship with that kid too. And those parents too. Then when you have to send the email home that Johnny isn't having a great day and you had to give him a lunch attention, then parents are a little more on your side. They're like, oh, okay, like I appreciate it. You're holding them accountable. I get it, and a little less likely to lash out back at you because you've sent that positive email and you noticed their kid doing something good. Even I was giving playing tests with my beginners on Friday, and I one of my clarinet players just sounded amazing, and so right away I emailed her mom and was like, hey, your kid just did her playing test and she just sounds so good, and I'm really glad she's doing this. And I think like Laura said it before too, like as a mom, like I know parents are just like, what is my kid doing? Whether it's like, especially if it's good, like I wanna know that like there's good things happening in my kid's day.
Yeah, because they don't tell you.
Right.
And I can't get it. We just had dinner and I can't get my kids.
That's in the kids don't tell you, not necessarily the teachers. I'm sure if you
the kids don't tell you about their day.
I'm sure if Laura had emailed the teachers like, hey, just wanted to hear some good things, the teacher would
for sure.
respond.
Yeah, they would communicate then. Yeah.
But it's also, as teachers, it's hard because there is so much that you have to do day in and day out.
Yeah. So other things with elementary music, I guess I would kind of what we were talking about earlier is just being, extra prepared, and that's having that lesson.
So many activities.
It's over preparing, over planning.
Yeah.
And always having something in your back pocket. We've got a few songs, a few little
games,
little quick games, a few things that are always in the back of our mind when you're like, we still have 5 minutes left in class. What are we gonna do? That you can throw that out there. Have everything. If you have stuff to write on the board, get that written on the board in advance. If you have videos, you're gonna
get them
show.
Queued up at 8:00. They're not 2 minutes after they walked in.
Yeah, they're queued up. Make sure that your projector is working. My projector is being a challenge right now.
Yeah, I know
so
that.
Make sure that that's connected. Make sure your Bluetooth is connected. Make sure if you have any manipulatives that you're using, that those are all any books, and everything is at the ready. So there is never any like, oh, hang on, boys and girls, let me go grab that, because they're gone. They're gone, and you're going to spend 5 more minutes trying to get them back.
And let's say you do have a moment where you're like, oh no, I totally forgot this, or I forgot I have to go get my copies, or like, oh my gosh, I have to go to the bathroom, and it's 4th grade, so I can kind of like leave them alone for just a minute or whatever. Have a YouTube video that's like 5 to 7 minutes long that you are very comfortable showing the kids, and that like they will enjoy and will keep them entertained. Mm-hmm. But it's not like, oh, this random YouTube video, I'm sure it's fine, but it actually has like 17 curse words or whatever. Which
what are some of your favorites? What are some of your favorite like
music videos?
Yeah, or like channels or things that you go to whenever you need something like that.
So the Winter Garden Marble Music Machine is a really awesome one. Anytime I always try to search like President's Own Marine Band. Those videos are pretty good, and they've got like they have like a digital rehearsal lab. Like they recorded one of their rehearsals and put it out on YouTube and was like, hey, this is exactly how rehearsals run, which can obviously get boring for younger kids, but that's a really good just like easy thing to give them. I know House of Sound on YouTube they talk about how sound is made, so that can also tie into like science of sound, stuff like that. But if you're in a pinch, that's a good one. I think Military Band has a ton of videos that are all like educational and interesting, and also just like good videos. Like they don't talk down to kids, they're informative. There's one I think the Army Band did. It was like interesting saxophones, and it was just like they went to this guy's house who just has a collection of crazy saxophones, and it's a pretty long video, so that was enough to like I'm able to put these videos on sometimes. Like my INSTA repair guy, shout out to Nate because he always listens. He comes every Friday morning during my 5th grade music, and that's a perfect opportunity. Like, hey, look at this really cool music video. There's a Into the Unknown. I forget the trumpet player's name, but if you type, and this is not the trumpet player, but if I know I've gotten it before, it's like Into the Unknown, Wayne Bergeron, which is not the trumpet player. But Into the Unknown, like instrumental, it's like the Zoom call tiles of people recorded at home. But it's like the coolest version of Into the Unknown. That's a really good one too.
Yeah. I love One Voice Children's Choir. They're amazing. If someone gets me in contact with them, that'd be amazing. They're out of Utah, and they have kids all the way up from what I'm guessing is maybe like first grade, second grade, all the way up through high school. I love any of their videos, and my kids love to listen to them. They're fantastic. I love the House of Sound videos. I pull up the piano guys have some really neat like
guys.
piano and sometimes cello.
Yeah. Thunderstruck
music.
is a really fun one.
That's a cool one. And so anything like if I need like a go-to, I have like a Disney sing-along playlist.
I'll even create like YouTube playlists of my own of just videos to like, okay, yep, these are safe. Let's go. Like, let's watch them. And those are good for like virtual lessons too.
Right. And so, again, like these aren't something we do all the time, but again, when you're like, when you have to step away, when you get, when the principal comes knocking on your door.
Right. You get a phone call.
In the middle of your lesson to chat about something, and you have to do something or they're going to be going insane, then that's something you can do.
I think, so this could be a good time to talk about. So I spend my day like bouncing around from age to age. So like, for example, today I start with 6th and 8th graders in advisory time. So they're just like supposed to be doing homework, but I'm sure watching YouTube.
It's study hall.
Yeah, study hall time. And then I go pick up 5th graders. And then after 5th grade, I work with 7th and 8th graders again in our makerspace, like design lab. And then I go teach preschool music. And then I go teach high school band, which I'm sure some of you are like, wanting to vomit because that sounds insane. And it is.
I love it though.
Yeah, I'm never bored. So kind of switching your attitude and for me it's really like I am in high school, middle school mode where I'm a little more gruff with the kids. Like, all right, come on, get your stuff. Let's go. Come on, what are we doing? Let's stand up. We can do this. Bucket up, buttercup, whatever. Like, and obviously, like, I try very hard not to talk like that to the younger kids. But there are times where I'm just like, hey, I'm like, oh, that's not, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We all have those.
But, and I'm sure most of you listening, if you're a small-time music teacher, you have that switching from, I'm teaching children, I'm teaching almost adults that have just sworn into the Navy, I'm teaching, like actual babies, like, and so just a reminder to like take a minute and like cleanse the palate to like, okay, now I'm talking to 4-year-olds. Let's
reset your expectations.
Right. Let's remember like, oh, okay, boys. And then again with 4th and 5th grade, they are children, but they are older children. So when you go, okay, boys and girls, today we're going to talk about music. That doesn't work very well. And they instantly like, nope. They will eat you alive.
That's my attitude when they're misbehaving. I'm like, oh, if we're going to behave like kindergartners, then I'm going to adopt you that way. All right, boys and girls, let's get it back together. Yeah. That's a challenge because I'm kind of the opposite. I spend most of my day in the elementary world, and then my high school kids come in. So again, like, man, I feel like my college professors that I'm just preaching like routine and preparation.
I mean, it really is. And also like routine, preparation, consistency, and follow through. If you say like, okay, if someone else plays their instrument while I'm talking, they're going to get a lunch detention.
You got to do it.
Then give them the lunch detention.
And it doesn't matter if it's the kid that
is really nice.
Is usually good, but like
I hate giving lunch detentions and clicking that like email to parents button. But like, 9 times out of 10 I've gotten an email that's like, thank you for disciplining my kid. Thank you for doing this. Like they absolutely need a lunch detention.
Yeah, do it. I mean, I could count on one hand the number of negative like responses I've gotten from parents.
And those kids usually quit pretty easily.
In 16 years. Cause and the thing is it creates a paper trail, write the referral. Yeah. You don't want to, but you know what? Whenever
chances are the kids having problems in other classes
elsewhere, and so
if you're just like letting it slide, then it just sends the message that this one teacher.
It's like, oh, well, only this one teacher is having problems. Clearly, it must be the teacher's problem. Whenever if everyone is documenting, then whenever the principal or the counselor or whoever is looking, they can see the full picture and be like, oh, like they're having problems in all of their classes.
Every single class, we're seeing the same behavior.
So yeah, I know you don't want to, but like write the referral, have the conversations. You know, I will say, if you notice a change in behavior, don't be afraid to have those conversations with kids. And I know in 2022, 2023, it's, you know, but, you know, have the conversation of, you know, pull the kid aside after class, or
like, do you know why you got this? Like, there's a kid I wrote up last year, and then he was like in tears, like sobbing.
Do you understand? But also, I asked them if, like, are you okay?
Yeah, that's a big deal too. Like, if there's something going on, chances are there's things going on,
especially if it's a change in behavior. Especially if it's a change in behavior. You know, if you have a kid that,
talk to.
You know, one time, I did that, and I found out like the kid's sister had run off with her boyfriend like a day and a half ago, and they hadn't heard from her. You know, so he was worried sick about his sister, and you know, and sure, like kids can feed you lines. You know, of course absolutely. They can, but I guess just, you know, remember, like, they're humans. You know, they're tiny humans, and you know, but you are their teacher, and it's your job to teach them in the way that they should go.
And you might be one of the most consistent parts of their life.
Mm-hmm. Especially because we get to develop these amazing relationships with these kids. You know, the seniors that I taught in kindergarten.
Yeah. My 6th graders, I taught them in kindergarten, and I haven't taught them every single year, but they've known me as a teacher in the building since they entered school. You know, I have middle school, high school kids that I haven't had in class in years, but every time we see each other in the hall, you know, I could still, you know, say hello to them by name. And vice versa. And sometimes they're shocked. They're like, you still remember my name? So, well, of course I do, you know. And so those relationships can go the other way too. So yeah, just be positive. Email us.
Be consistent. Plan. Prepare. Fill every single second of your lesson.
Drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah, be ready. And if you need help, reach out, because classroom management is the hardest thing about being a teacher.
Please, like, I still have a weird mental barrier that's like, no, I have to do this on my own. You do not. Please, like, we want to help you. That's why we made this podcast. Like, I feel like I'm just, like, putting things out into space and just, like, hoping we get a signal back. So, like, email us. Tell us anything. So even if it's your favorite color, I don't care. Just...
So if you have something that you have started doing that you really love, please comment, email us. If you need help with something, if you have a particularly challenging
send us a video of your teaching
class, like, we'd be glad to take a look to help you through that, because it's not easy. And we're all still learning here.
We do have, if you feel maybe you don't want to email us yet, but you think we need a better microphone or something, find us on Patreon, Small.townmusic. We do have a Patreon. Find us on TikTok. I am slowly but surely figuring it out and uploading some videos every once in a while. I'll get better at it. You can tell when I'm on break, because then I'll upload like 4 videos and then nothing for weeks.
So what's one of your favorite things?
Canva. Canva.com.
You've been really into Canva lately.
Yeah, I'm amazed every time I go on. So teachers, you can get it for free. You don't have to subscribe and pay a whole bunch of money. So it has like billions of these templates and poster templates and all these crazy things, and I use it for concert posters and they look phenomenal. I use it for my classroom weekly newsletter that I send out to parents. I use it as my like announcements page in class. I use it at community band for announcements and like to tell the order. I use it for everything, and everything looks really nice. It's so easy to use. They make it super easy to download and to I just love it. There's not a day that goes by that I don't use it.
I've been using it too for like social media posts. Like if I have to create something, whether it's for church or for school,
it's just super clean. super cute, super easy to use.
It makes you look way better than you are.
Oh yeah. And again, as a teacher, you get it for free,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Google Keep, and I feel like Google Keep is like the hidden secret of the Google world. And I use it all the time. I use it, so it's basically like a note taking, kind of like Evernote.
Yeah.
I used to use, that you can just take notes, and I take notes all the time, and I have it on my phone, I have it on my laptop. There's a Chrome extension that you can like save websites, just like directly, just use like click the icon and it saves a note of that. You can organize your notes. You can take a picture and put it in a note, and you can grab the text out of that picture. So if you have like a book or something, you can take a picture of the page or a recipe, or take a picture of it, and then it can grab the text out of the picture. And then it also integrates into like all the like Google Docs. If you've ever looked on the right hand side of a Google Doc, there's a little yellow light bulb.
Yeah.
And if you click on that, it opens up your Google Keep, and you can then just like click and drag your notes into Docs. It's fantastic for if you're doing research on something, if you are, I mean, heck, if I'm doing my meal plan, you can make checklists.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm doing my grocery shopping, I'll make, I just love Google Keep a lot. And if you're not already in Google, if you're like a Microsoft school or something, then maybe it isn't that helpful, and I'm sure Microsoft has something maybe similar. But if you're already in Google, if you're already in Gmail, it's a fantastic tool. So you should check it out. It makes your life easier.
Yeah. So email us, small.townmusicpodcast@gmail.com, Instagram, small.townmusic, Patreon, give us money. So we can like get a microphone and get even better things for our podcast and help me. Yeah, we will put another episode out soon. Bye.